Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So, drum roll, please. We have another industry person who is facing a lawsuit due to things of the trafficking nature, the R word nature, the assault nature, if you will. This time, the person who has been sued is a songwriter industry individual known as The Dream. Now, I'm not going to even try to pronounce this man's legal name, his government name. His name is The Dream. They need to go ahead and change that to The Nightmare, considering some of the stuff that this woman by the name of Chanaz Mongraw is alleging that he did to her. Now, before we get into this, because trafficking was one of the things she alleged against him in this lawsuit, we're going to go back over the definition of trafficking. Yes, I've done it before, but we're going to do it again because there are people on the internet literally making videos using their platform to spread misinformation when it comes to trafficking. You do not have to be physically moved, picked up, whacked over the head, thrown over somebody's shoulder, put in their trunk, and moved from point A to point B for it to be considered trafficking. Yes, that is a part of it that can happen, but there's more to it than that. As you can see, this is the definition of human trafficking, straight from the website of the U.S. Department of Justice. So this is not something that I'm just pulling out of thin air. This is not the definition that just happened overnight. It didn't change randomly at some point in time. This has been the definition of trafficking. I don't know why people are acting like this is brand new or something. And also people are acting like they're too ignorant to just go do research before they make a video concerning this kind of stuff. And the reason why I'm making it a note to point this out is because whenever people don't do research, whenever they don't know what they're talking about, but they still take to the internet to talk about it, especially when it's this serious, it sets people back. It minimizes what people are going through. It begets more ignorance on a topic that we cannot afford to be ignorant on. Anyways, as you can see, it states here clearly, and I quote, "Human trafficking, also known as trafficking in persons, is a crime that involves compelling or coercing a person to provide labor or services or to engage in commercial sex acts. The coercion can be subtle or overt, physical or psychological. Exploitation of a minor for commercial sex is human trafficking, regardless of whether any form of force, fraud, or coercion was used, and that is because that part of the definition is pertaining to a minor." Now, be not mistaken, this doesn't just go for minors. Like I said, it's automatic when the person is a minor because it's a minor we're talking about. Although you can be an adult and still be trafficked as well. It actually happens a lot more often than what people will actually want to accept. And the reason why, again, another reason I wanted to double down on this is because this young woman who filed this lawsuit against him for these things, allegedly she's not from the U.S., she is from the Netherlands. And at the time, she was still working, if I'm not mistaken, on getting a permanent citizenship in this country. Allegedly, she was operating something along the lines of on a visa or a immigration card, if you will. So that made it an even more complicated situation for her in particular. It's a lot easier to traffic people and to do these things to people when they're from another country, when they might not know the language very well, when they don't know the culture and the things to look out for because they're not from here. Everything around here is new to them, which makes them even more vulnerable. Now, I'm probably going to make another video talking a little bit more deeply about this. For right now, let's get into this lawsuit. Y'all know how I like to do these things. This lawsuit was allegedly filed Tuesday in California, the federal court in California. And she accused The Nightmare, I told y'all we fixed his name on this channel, and I quote, "of falsely promising to promote her career only to trap her in an abusive, violent, and manipulative relationship filled with physical assaults, violent sexual encounters, and horrific psychological manipulation." Now, remember, a part of that definition was that they can mentally, psychologically manipulate someone into doing XYZ, forced labor, or commercial sex acts. Using coercion in any form, with anything. We've also talked about this with the P. Devil Combs lawsuits. I've told y'all before, a lot of these industry people, they run in the same circles and they do the same things to people. They abuse people in the same ways. They take advantage of people in the same ways. We just got done talking about this with the P. Devil Combs lawsuits, how he was promising these people all this stuff. Oh, I can do this, I can do that, holding their career over their heads. Telling them things like, oh, if you stay with me, if you work with me, if you do this, if you do that, then I'll help you here. Getting them in vulnerable positions and then trying to take advantage of them. And then when they don't give them what they want, again, they hold this stuff over their heads. Once again, this happened with the Little Rod lawsuit. He alleged that P. Devil Combs told him, well, I can help you get a Grammy, allegedly. I can help you get this, I can help you get that, if you do XYZ. This is what they do. This is the method of coercion, manipulation that they use to get these people into tricky, like I said, vulnerable positions and then take advantage of them. Now, what made the manipulation, if you will, go even deeper is the fact that this guy does have a resume. He does have an extensive list of songs and artists that he has worked for. Allegedly, he was behind Single Ladies. He was behind Break My Soul. He was behind Rihanna's Umbrella. Apparently, he was behind Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake's Holy Grail, as you can see right here on the screen. He has multiple Grammys. He also wrote a song for the remake of The Color Purple, and he's allegedly one of Beyonce's main songwriters. So she was probably looking at all of this and thinking to herself, well, he has all of this under his belt. Like I said, he has this extensive resume within the industry. If anybody can help me out, help my career, it's definitely this guy, right? Little did she know, how things really go in the industry, if you will. Now he fired back saying that her allegations against him, and I quote, are untrue and defamatory. He also said that he, and I quote, oppose all forms of harassment. And basically that he strove, if you will, to make it his life's mission is what he was trying to make it seem like, to help other artists in their career. He even went so far as to say that he was, and I quote, deeply offended and saddened, end quote, by the accusations that she made against him. Now getting in deeper to said accusations and allegations, and I quote, according to the complaint, the Nightmare exploited Mangro by falsely assuring her that he would sponsor the extension of her international visa, telling her he would write blockbuster songs for her and offering a spot as the opener on Beyonce's upcoming tour. He allegedly oversaw all aspects of her life, isolating her at a hotel, controlling where she went, and having her check in several times a day. Once again, him telling her, oh, well, I did all this for these other people. I wrote these songs for these other people. I can make you famous too, using that as a way to get her in, to basically trap her and further manipulate her, allegedly. Also, the thing with the international visa that I was speaking of before, when the victim is from a foreign nation who's depending on somebody here to look out for them, to help them, to show them where to go, what to do, it makes the victim even more vulnerable, and that's what it seems like was going on in this situation. It seems like he was trying to isolate her and put her in a vulnerable position so that she could only depend on him, and that is where the control comes into play. It's easy to control somebody when they're in that kind of predicament, allegedly. But anyways, and I quote, the complaint details violent and sexual acts throughout the course of the duo's relationship, which started in 2015 when she was flown out to Atlanta by the Nightmare. On one occasion, he locked Miss Mangro in a dark room adjacent to a recording studio, violently having sex with her and then leaving her alone naked in the dark for hours on end, returning to again have sex with her and demand that she tell him she loved him. End quote. Y'all, this is really sick and messed up. Allegedly. Y'all know I had to say allegedly, right? And I quote, in another incident, the Nightmare choked Mangro after she rebuffed him. As she began to pass out, Dream continued to scream that she was taking advantage of him, states the complaint, which notes several instances of R-word and physical abuse. Now, this article once again states that within the lawsuit, she was alleging, once again, sex trafficking. She also alleged that the Nightmare made her, and I quote, engage in sexual acts with different men across multiple states. On one occasion in a movie theater, he demanded that she perform oral sex on him while another man watched. End quote. Once again, it's giving he had to learn it from somewhere. It's giving P. Devil Combs. It's giving freak off. because that's really what it's sounding like right now. Now, this article goes on to state that this lawsuit, which I believe it was filed in California, there's a law that basically gives much more grace concerning the statute of limitations, which is what has given her the ability to file this lawsuit against him despite the time that has passed. And I've said this before, I don't think that there should be a statute of limitations. I don't think that some person shouldn't be able to file a lawsuit for something that has happened to them in the past. I don't care how many years ago it was. I don't care if it's 50 years ago. I said this before. If that person is still alive and the abuser is still alive and they want to file that lawsuit, they should be able to. Now, there was something else that was interesting that was mentioned in this article concerning this lawsuit, the complaint, if you will, that I want to read for you, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more, expound on it, if you will. And I quote, "The complaint claims that the Nightmares label, Contra Paris and Epic Records facilitated the producer's alleged crimes by signing her despite the fact that he never intended to truly support her career trajectory, but instead wanted corporate funding to assist in his trafficking venture." It adds that they benefited by keeping the producer satisfied, ensuring that they continued to profit from his work. Remember when we talked about the R. Kelly situation, whenever he was going to prison, all the things that people were finally opening their eyes to that he had done, and everybody was talking about the enablers this, the enabler that, his manager, whoever it was, the label. Believe it or not, all these people, they know what's going on. They're in the industry. They know what's happening. But a lot of these people turn a blind eye on purpose because as long as these people are satisfied by abusing people and getting off on abusing people, using them to satisfy their perversions, even if the person doesn't want to be used, they know that that person will continue to do the work in the industry that they are directly benefiting from. So they will turn a blind eye to what some of these people are going through because they want to profit off of whatever is going to come out of it. Just like the enablers around R. Kelly, they continued to not check him, to not turn him in, to not say anything about what he'd done, to not call the police, to not contact the proper authorities, because as long as he was doing whatever he wanted to do, whatever level of unrighteousness, perversion, he was making music. He was making other people money. That's another thing about this, another layer of this that people don't consider a lot. A lot of these people are not going to get got for a while because people are benefiting off of them doing these horrendous things because it keeps the machine going, if you will. It keeps them going in the industry. As long as they get to do what they want to, then they'll satisfy other people above them that are profiting and benefiting from them doing whatever they want to whomever they want to. Anyways, Monroe was paid allegedly $35,000 as an advance, while allegedly the Nightmare was paid a $150,000 payment, and I quote, for execution of the contract. The lawsuit says after the relationship soured, he allegedly refused to turn over any of her music. In 2016, she was told that Epic Records no longer wanted to distribute her music because he failed to deliver her records. And I quote, "She was left in the dark throughout the entire process despite both Contra and Epic Records having a signed contract and owning corporate responsibilities to her, and despite agents of both entities knowing that Ms. Monroe had been the subject of the Nightmares' violent and coercive manipulation, which they knew or should have known were predicated of fraudulent promises of record contracts, Grammys, and opening for Beyonce," the complaint states, end quote. Now, allegedly also, as this article states, the Nightmare's ex-girlfriend back in 2013 filed a police report alleging that he strangled her while she was pregnant. That is absolutely horrendous, crazy, allegedly. So before anybody says that these allegations that this woman is making don't have any legs to stand on once again, these allegations about this police report might beg to differ. I've said before, not everybody is lying, and where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Now, of course, she made a closing statement talking about how coming out and talking about this, that she survived allegedly, was one of the most difficult things in her life to do, that she's had to do. And she also said that what he allegedly did to her, and I quote, "made it impossible to live the life she envisioned for herself and pursue Her goals as a singer and songwriter. We should all know by now that, this thing with the lawsuits, how it ruins people, it messes people up. A lot of these people, they go into the industry just thinking they want to sing, dance, do whatever it is, act. And after they've been through it and back with these people, the industry, managers, people who are just trying to use them, don't care about their actual talent or them actually want to be something in the industry. They just use them for what they can, and then they throw them to the dirt once they can't get what they want. Note that part where it said when the relationship soured, probably because she kept fighting back, allegedly. After going through all of this, they probably don't even want a career anymore. Whatever they went to the industry to do, they probably don't even want to do it anymore. Let's keep that in mind and have some humanity towards these people who are coming out. Like I said before, I hope that they all come out. All these celebrities who have skeletons in their closet, who done stuff like this to people, I hope they all come out and keep filing these lawsuits so the truth can be made known. Of course, everything that was stated in this video concerning this lawsuit is alleged. Y'all know I have to say that. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.